Dave Kroupa had not long relocated to Omaha, Nebraska to start a new job as a manager at an auto repair shop. He was new in town, having recently separated from his long-term spouse, Amy Flora, with whom he had 2 children. He would turn to internet dating in the hopes of making new connections, seeing this as a step in the right direction. What he didn't realise, however, was that this would put him firmly in the path of a cold-blooded killer. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Horror House. It's Dom.
And Amy.
And as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching. Thank you for supporting. And also take this as your reminder that you are splendid, you are stupendous, you are sexy, and you are just all around amazing. So don't forget that and remind yourself of that. And we will also do the same as we do every episode. Amy, how are you doing, my lovely?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very disappointed that your final descriptive word wasn't also beginning with S. But other than that...
It was oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I was about to say...
Or amazing doesn't begin with S.
But I was about to say it was sexier. Then I realized, oh, no, I stopped it on amazing. I couldn't think of one. I panicked.
Well, it's fine. We'll just add it to the very long list of reasons you continue to disappoint me. That was so mean. I'm so sorry.
That was really horrible. Oh my God.
Sometimes I can't help it. Sometimes all like the inner rage and the inner bile just comes out. But I don't mean it at all. You never disappoint me. But I would have liked that final descriptive word to begin with S if I had a choice.
This has been going on for 40 plus episodes, listeners. This is what happens when we record. I just get abused.
Yeah, I normally get nice as soon as we hit record. It's just abuse, record. Freedom, you're my best friend. Like, and then we change. But today it's spilled over into recording, so I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm a very rage-filled person.
The rage.
A lot of internal anger that's been, needing to get out, and you just happen to be on the other end of the camera. So I apologise. But it's also not true. You don't disappoint me in the slightest.
I'm glad.
Is that better?
Also, disregard.
Are you happy now?
disregard. Amazing and I don't know. Seriously scrumptious. Oh God, no, that's terrible.
Oh God.
No. Let's stick with amazing.
You should have stuck with amazing. Now I'm disappointed. Now I'm actually disappointed. Yeah, this is all good. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's because just before we hit record, we were talking about all of the comments that we're getting on our videos at the moment, which is great. We love it, we love a chat. We love a good dialogue in the comment section. It's really good. And plus I love it when people call me clown. That's fun. I like personal criticism. Do you know what? I've always thought when I start a podcast, I'll make it about true crime because that way I'll get lots of personal criticism. That makes sense. Let's do that. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, but we do this for a living. So
yeah, exactly. Which is amazing. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
So incredible. Yeah.
Oh dear. But hey, at least
that's where all the rage came from. But I'm over it now. It's fine.
At least the video's getting boosted, I guess. But hey ho.
Yes, we are clowns, but please subscribe.
So obviously, as you know, I've been sitting on this episode for a little minute. I'm very excited to talk about it. Do you know? I know that you said before we recorded you haven't looked at anything, but
nope.
Does the name Dave Kroupa ring a bell at all?
No. I kind of feel like it should, but no, it doesn't. And I haven't. Again, obviously, I see this let's start again. I see the Teaser Tuesday posts at the same time as everyone else does. Like, we do them for our own episodes, so we don't know who's doing what. And I saw the picture and thought, do I know you? But then I stopped myself from doing any further research because I don't want to know. I like it to be a surprise. So no, I don't think it does. And maybe as we progress through the story, I might have a sudden moment where I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this. But hopefully that won't happen because I want to learn new things.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's a crazy one. There's twists and turns. This is not your normal stalker story. This is a very intriguing, interesting, different stalker episode.
Okay.
And I do want to shout out the True Crime Guys podcast because they covered this episode, and this is where I sort of found out about the case, and that's when
excuse me,
I jumped
sorry.
to Google, and that was disgusting.
Really sorry. Sorry, I've seen the size of the Red Bull I'm drinking. I've got no energy, so apologies. That's where that came from. I'm really sorry, everyone.
But yeah, like I said, shout out to True Crime Guys because they covered this, and this is where I discovered this and jumped onto Google, and then I was like, I have to talk about this, especially because if anyone's going to get a kick out of this one, Ames, it's going to be you. You're going to find this. You're going to find this very intriguing, I think.
Okay.
So,
all right. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I mean, I think so. I hope so.
Wonderful.
Let's find out.
Let's go. So Dave Kroupa would relocate to Omaha, Nebraska in 2012, as I said, after taking a job managing an auto repair shop. He was separated from his longtime partner. I think they were married for over a decade, I want to say, with whom he had 2 children. And obviously this was his first time on his own in quite a while. He would say, quote, "I didn't know how to venture back into the dating pool. I felt pretty rusty. So internet dating was the way to go." Kroupa would obviously sign up for a few dating websites, and through one of them, he would meet a single mother named Shanna Elizabeth Golyer, who went by the nickname Liz. They would click pretty much right away, and by the 4th date, they were sleeping together. So, didn't waste any time, old Dave.
4th date?
4th date.
That's pretty... wait, I don't want to say that. I don't want to sound slutty, but that's pretty late in the dating game. Like,
I mean,
you know.
I suppose you could say that was...
I guess it depends on your,
quite late.
Your view on it. I've probably just made myself sound like a right slut, but...
You
for me, it's quite it's quite late in the dating game. Like I would say, I'd say maybe a 2nd date if you like him. It's okay to.
I mean, I would agree.
That physically.
I would agree. But maybe I don't know. Maybe they were. I don't know. Maybe they were playing it safe. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
We're not here to judge.
But yeah. So by date 4, they were sleeping together. So Dave had made it very clear with Liz that he didn't want to get into anything too serious, and he just wanted to casually date, just have a bit of fun. And this was an arrangement that Liz, for very much fortunately for Dave Kroupa, said that she was more than happy with, and she was happy to do casual dating. So,
everyone's
yeah,
loosey-goosey in this relationship.
Get in, David Kroupa. he's
have that casual sex.
Kinda, you have that casual pussy, my friend. Good work.
Hey, whoa. We can't be calling it casual pussy. That's a different thing. That implies she's not really there. No, that's. I mean, they're 2 adults in a mutually beneficial situation. That benefit just happens to be the good puss. And
the good puss. The good puss. Exactly. Like, casually dating, friends with benefits, that is all okay. Nothing wrong with it. Shouldn't be ashamed of it.
We don't even know if it's puss. It might be anal. It's very early in the recording to be saying anal.
Maybe. Maybe they just strictly go backdoor. Who knows?
That's casual to me.
Oh my God. We're 10 minutes into the recording.
Yeah. I've made some mistakes, but
Oh dear. So after about 6 months of the couple casually dating, Dave would meet another woman. This would be Cari Farver, another single mother who had brought in her Ford Explorer to his auto repair shop for maintenance. And Dave would be immediately attracted to her. He would say, quote, "When we looked at each other, there was a little spark. She was showing me something inside the vehicle, and we're standing there, and we're very close, and there was some tension." I think, from what he said, it was pretty much like a movie. Like he was they were both leaning sort of in the car door, and sort of in a movie, like they lock eyes, and dramatic music plays, and it's sparks straight away. It was kind of that situation.
That's lovely. That's very nice.
Understand.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's not very nice. Who knows? I don't think many people meet like that, do they? Like that's not a thing that happens often, that you see someone and you just click with them. Like I think online dating has kind of taken over in the sense that that's how people meet now. So it's nice that they met in real life. And although I must admit, when you said she brought her car in for maintenance, and you said that they looked at each other and there was a spark, and I was thinking, was that from the engine or?
Someone in the background's literally just like sanding a door or something, and that's where the sparks are coming from.
Yeah, it's just like a soldering iron. It wasn't real sparks. He just thought it was. But yeah, no. It's very cute story. Very nice way to.
Yes, it is. And obviously, with Liz being fine with casually dating, obviously he was talking to other women while he was, seeing Liz. So
he's alive.
He's in a good situation.
Looking to give out the casual dicking, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's all inclusive casual dick. Old Dave. You get 3 meals as well.
So after coming into Dave's shop for a second time, Kroupa would eventually ask Farver out. And much like with Liz, the two would hit it off right away on their first date. So after dinner, he would invite her back to his flat.
Come on in for coffee.
I know, right? A little bit of hot coffee. So Kroupa would claim that when things would start to get a little bit heated, Farver would tell him that she didn't want anything serious. And for our boy Dave, that was a non-issue. Quote, "I felt like I hit the jackpot," Dave Kroupa would later say. My dude is living the dream.
He's having a great
you get that
time.
Good pussy, Dave.
He is all about the casual puss, and that is fine. I feel like I've said that too much now, like it's become a bit dirty. But yeah, I mean, well, good for you, Dave. Good for you. I wonder what date this was. Do you think it was like the third time that they met?
I think this was first. So they went back to his
the first date
apartment after their first date.
Oh my God.
So
I'm acting shocked. Definitely done it on a first date. But oh my goodness, first date. Come on, ladies.
Scandalous behaviour.
Who would do that? That is disgusting behaviour. Who
would do that? So just as things were starting to heat up, starting to get a little spicy, Liz would come on by performing the ultimate cock block. I joke she just wanted to collect a few things that she had left, but still, impeccable timing.
Oh no, that's not good. Oh, Liz.
I mean, like, he is in a casual relationship, so it's not a big deal. Like Liz can't be like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?"
He sounds like one of the kinds of guys, though, that would immediately be like, "So, ladies, seeing as we're all here,
Yeah,
Cheeky
he was
threesome, mate?
definitely going to angle for a threesome, wasn't he?
He's definitely going to give it a go.
100%.
Like, I would. So, let's not be angry. Let's make love, not war. And just...
Let's make love, not war.
It's a good line, right? I think that would work.
Yeah, I think.
But I'm
think
guessing
that
that's not what happened.
I think that would. Well, as we go on through the episode, you'll find out. So Dave would explain the situation to Cari, and she understood, but she decided to call it an early night. Liz was buzzed in, and Cari was let out, and the two women would pass each other in the corridor. Like ships passing in the night, the two would barely acknowledge each other, but it would have long-lasting ramifications for all three of them. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when Liz and Cari passed each other in the corridor.
Do you think they spoke?
I reckon it was
I don't think
a
I would have
nod. I don't think
spoken.
they would have said anything.
I don't know. I get a bit... One of two things happens when I'm feeling awkward. I either go really quiet and get like proper resting bitch face, so it's just do not talk to me, or I overcompensate and I'm too nice, so I'll start talking and just not shut up. And I don't know which one I would do in that scenario. Like, I'd probably launch into, I don't know, a 3-page review of his dick or something. Like, it's, I don't know. It's like, we've obviously got a lot in common, me and you, same guy.
No, that is
Want to be
true.
friends? And it would just be terrible. And I don't know which is worse. That probably is bad, isn't it? You shouldn't make friends with the other woman.
Maybe she complimented Cari's lipstick. I don't know. Who knows?
I think we should probably assume they said nothing. That makes more sense. That's what normal people would do.
Yeah, I don't think if they said anything, I don't think it was more than maybe a hi. And I don't even know if they would have said that. I reckon it might have just been a nod, and then how like when you nod to someone in the street and you do that really awkward smile. I reckon it would have been that. That's what I'm thinking.
One of those. Hey. One of those, like where you do a sharp intake of breath at the same time.
When you're just like that. That's what I reckon it would have been.
The nod of, I acknowledge that we have sucked the same penis. Not a nod I do often. But
they spoke without words. It was all in the nod.
Yeah, it's all in the nod. It gave them everything they needed to know about each other. No, that's not a very nice situation to be in. That's a very awkward situation.
Yeah.
Also,
I reckon it was
why would you not
awkward.
just... I suppose you kind of have to pass each other at some point, don't you? You can't really avoid that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I suppose you can't be like, okay, Liz, wait outside. Like, don't come in the
Jump out the
building.
window.
Cari, if you go.
If you could just go out the back door, Cari, you come in the front. We'll have like a revolving door of good puss. It'll be fine.
So Dave Kroupa was so captivated by Cari that when she was assigned a major project at her work, he offered to have her stay with him. Farver was a computer programmer, and her office was just around the corner from where Kroupa lived, whereas she lived nearly an hour away in Macedonia, Iowa. On the morning of November the 13th, 2012, Kroupa said he got ready for work, kissed Cari on the way out, and told her that he would see her later on that evening. However, Dave Kroupa wouldn't see her later that evening. In fact, he would never see Cari Farver again, yet he would hear from Cari Farver very often over the next 4 years. Dun, dun, dun.
Bitch, what?
I mean, this is mere twist one in the... You know that street in San Francisco where it kind of like does... It's I can't remember what it's called. Lombard Street, where it's essentially like, bam, like switchback after switchback after switchback.
Yeah.
This is this episode. It's got a twist here, and then it's got a twist there, and then it's got a twist there, and then it's got a twist there.
Blimey, okay. All right. I mean, I'm buckled in. I'm ready to. I'm already confused. But that's fine.
It will become clear. Do not worry.
Okay.
Do not worry.
Good.
So later that same day, Dave Kroupa would receive a pretty unexpected message from Cari Farver. She said that she wanted the two to move in together, something that neither of them said that they had wanted, as they were just casually dating. Kroupa would message back, declining the offer, stating he wasn't interested due to not wanting anything too serious. And one would think, as Cari Farver said she wasn't looking for anything serious as well, this would be a non-issue. Well, turns out it was quite an issue, because Dave would receive the following response back, quote, "Fine, I hate you, I'm dating someone else, I don't want to see you anymore, go away." Dave would say, quote, "I didn't know what to think, I was blown away." That's quite a change up from
I'm not
being fine with a casual relationship.
Gal shot to hate pretty quick. Like, oh, I want to live with you. Oh, no, wait, I hate you. Sorry. Within like 2 days.
I know, right?
I'm confused.
You're gonna say that quite a bit
for
a little while.
I'll get it all out now. Just assume until further notice that I'm confused, listeners, because I am. It's a fair assumption.
I mean, we both live our lives confused, so I don't think that's too much of a shock.
I'm
so
far territory.
So obviously Farver was gone when Dave Kroupa returned home later that night. 2 days later, his phone would start lighting up with messages in which Farver said, in part, quote, "I hate you, you've ruined my life, you're a terrible person." Quite the 180 from Cari Farver there. Cari, who was diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder in her 20s, would also begin sending weird messages to her family and friends around the same time. She informed her mother that she had relocated to Kansas for a new job and would not return her phone calls. She also missed a number of crucial family events over the course of several weeks, including her son's birthday and her own father's funeral. Meanwhile, Kroupa claims that Farver continued to send him hundreds of harassing text messages and emails. One of them said, quote, "I will do what I can to make you suffer." And another said, quote, "We belong together, Dave." That's not creepy. We belong together, Dave.
We belong together, Dave, but also I'm going to make your life hell. We need to be together for me to do that. So if you wouldn't mind, that would be great. That's
yeah.
Weird. I mean, I think I know where it's going. We won't acknowledge it yet. I think I know where it's going, but
okay,
very weird.
Yeah,
and definitely,
don't say anything just yet.
No, I'm not going to say anything. I don't do that. But definitely weird behaviour and definitely not unsuspicious.
No, very not unsuspicious.
Great.
So
great grammar there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Very not unsuspicious.
Very not unsuspicious. This is why I don't have a degree in English. That's why I have a degree in film, radio, and television.
All right, Cheryl.
I mean, you've got a master's degree. If anyone's showing off, it's definitely not me.
I mean, I literally didn't even say it. You said it, but that's cool. Yeah. Well, it was fucking weird now, isn't it? Like, it's just out there. Thanks. I wasn't going to mention
it. He claimed that most of the messages were about Liz, who ran into Farver in Kroupa's apartment block hallway. And like I said, it wasn't just Dave. It was also Liz who would receive threatening and harassing messages as well. Kroupa claimed that Golyer called him on one occasion and informed him that her garage had been vandalized. Quote, upon pulling into the garage, she found that someone had written, quote, "Whore from Dave" on the inside in spray paint, Kroupa said.
Don't know why that made me laugh. Sorry.
I can see that. I see that Cari's going the subtle crazy stalker method.
Yeah. That is super subtle.
Very
no one's going
inconspicuous.
to know who that message is from.
Right.
Also, all I could think of when you said whore from Dave, over here, Americans, if you're not familiar with this, it might be in America as well, actually. Dave is a TV channel that shows a lot of reruns of game shows and like old TV shows. So when you said whore from Dave, I was like, is that a new show? I'm watching. I can't wait. It sounds good.
I completely forgot that Dave was a channel when I was writing this up. Yeah.
That's all I heard. When you said it, I was like, is it a rerun? Is it a new show? Like,
new TV series on Dave.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Whore.
To be fair, if you saw that there was a program called Whore on Dave, you would watch it.
Yeah,
I would.
To be fair, yeah. No, I'm not gonna lie. I
mean, it works for like a million pornos, so why not a
true.
show on Dave?
That is very true. So, the harassment that Dave would receive would escalate to the point that he was certain that someone was watching him, and that would be actually very accurate. Because, quote, on one specific occasion, I was sitting in my lazy boy with my feet up, watching TV, trying to relax, and it's nighttime, and I get a text saying, quote, I see you, you're sitting in your chair with your feet propped up, wearing a blue shirt. And all of those things were true, he told ABC News.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's also guessable.
I mean, it is, I suppose, but how would she, I suppose...
To be fair, if someone messaged me at 7 o'clock on like a Tuesday night and went, Amy, you're sitting on your sofa, you're watching TV and you're wearing black, there's a very high percentage chance that you're going to be correct. Number one, I always wear black. Number two, I pretty much always sit on my sofa in the evenings. Number two, I'm always got the telly on, even if I'm not watching it.
True.
So, yeah, I don't know.
True. Well, on the back of that, he would also receive very non-creepy messages, such as, quote, my favourite thing is to stand outside and stare at you. So, yeah, she probably was. Just staring at him.
Can't really get around that one.
No.
Get a hobby, I reckon. That sounds boring as fuck.
Really nice message to a really nice message to receive from someone who you haven't seen in a long time. But hey ho, maybe she just really missed him. But didn't want to go and talk to him.
Loads of people watch Big Brother. Maybe she just enjoyed watching him specifically.
Maybe.
Like the Truman Show. She had like her own personal version of the Truman Show.
Oh, Dave's and his lazy boy again. Oh, thrilling.
Wearing blue again. Yeah.
So obviously Dave and Liz were still seeing each other casually while this was going on. And they would often both receive harassing messages while they were sitting together on the couch. And even now, Dave still has a buttload of unopened emails from Cari, the majority of which call Liz a whore. And he probably just got tired of opening them, to be honest. Probably got to the point where it was like, oh, another email from, it's just calling Liz a whore.
Oh, God. I don't want to watch your show, Dave.
The harassment did continue to escalate, and it went beyond messages and emails, and it went to Cari threatening to kill Liz and sending Dave a photo of a woman tied up in the boot of a car. So that ramped up quite a bit.
Okay, I mean, there's usually some steps in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't go straight from 1 to 10, but that's fine. That's the way you want to play it. Go for it, love. What the fuck?
She decided, you know what? I'm skipping step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm just going straight to step 9.
Straight to step 9?
Why not? That's what she was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to understand the mind of a stalker. She's clearly not okay, but yeah. I mean, it's not how I would have done it, and take that as you will. But I wouldn't have done it personally quite that quickly. I would have escalated slowly.
Yeah. I suppose you don't sort of go from like, quite, standard messages, emails,
Yeah.
then to tying someone up in a
Kidnapped
car.
a bitch. Yeah, exactly.
Sending a photo.
It's a bit much.
That's
It's
a
a bit
leap.
extreme.
Obviously, understandably concerned at this point, he would call Liz to make sure that she was okay. Unfortunately, she was fine, and she was not the woman in the photo. Well, I also just want to reiterate that this does go on for many years, like to the point that his phone would be lit up every day to the point he couldn't even use it because it would just get spammed with emails and text messages all day, non-stop. And
who has time for that? Like,
I
I
mean,
can barely respond to
yeah.
the messages that I do get, and they're not from stalkers.
Yeah.
How does someone have that much time to just constantly message someone and call someone?
It's crazy,
Does she not
isn't it?
work? Does she not have a real job? I mean, what? Ugh. Even apparently, the most stressful part of this case for me is the time management aspect. But yeah, it's stressing me out just thinking about it.
Also, I kind of feel bad for laughing, but it's also kind of funny. So for a few years, I think, Dave would drive around town with the following quote keyed. Just want to read keyed into the side of his car, not sprayed or like keyed. Quote: Dave loves fat whores. I feel so bad for laughing, but I just.
Oh my God, that's the best quote I've ever had. I think that might be my favourite quote ever on Horror House that we've done.
It's the fact that for like 2 years or you know a few years, like let's not forget he manages an auto repair shop, so not at one point was he like, I'm gonna go and fix this. For like a few years he just drove around with I love fat whores keyed into the side of his car. Like
the verbiage I do not support, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with loving a curvy lady. That's not a problem. So maybe he was just like, do you know what? Yeah, damn straight. But yeah, the wording isn't ideal.
I just think it's crazy that like he was just like, you know what? And then he just
it adds character. Let's just keep it. Yeah, but no, that was fantastic. Like we've had some great quotes across all of our episodes, but quote Dave loves fat whores is definitely my favorite.
Yeah. Also, I just in case like people say leave a comment or whatever, I'm not laughing at the fact that this man is getting stalked. I'm just laughing at the fact that he had this keyed in his car, and at no point did he was like, I'm going to replace the panel. I'm going to do something. He just drove around with it. He was entirely not fussed.
When you work for an auto repair shop as well, like part of me thinks he must have wanted to keep it for a little while to actively not do it.
Yeah. But hey ho. So in August 2013, Golyer's house would catch fire, killing her family pets, including 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake. Fire investigators did believe it was arson, with Liz obviously believing that Cari was the one to blame. The harassment.
I'm sad.
Yeah,
all the fat whore funny's gone. Now pets have died. That's not nice.
No, it's never nice when in cases we talk about pets or just death in general, whether it's pets, whether it's humans.
Well, obviously,
and obviously, we've laughed at some of the stuff, but yeah, when you start setting people's houses on fire and killing their pets,
too far.
That's a bit too far. However, the harassment of Dave would continue. Kroupa's auto repair shop was vandalized at one point. He was in his flat with his high school friend Heather Teat or something, I don't know. TWEDT. I don't know how that's pronounced.
Twit?
Twat?
I don't.
Tweet?
Let's just go
Tweet?
with it.
Something.
Tweet? Twit? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So they were in his flat when Heather said that she saw his cell phone blow up with texts and afterwards heard someone jiggling the front door handle. Heather even claimed that a brick was hurled through the window while they were in bed that night.
Oh,
So
God.
bricks now are just casually being lobbed into his flat.
Not doing much to avoid capture. Like, that is, you're right on the doorstep. You're not doing this from afar. That is, up close and personal stalkingness. That's not a word. You know what I mean?
So even though it had been 2.5 years since anyone had seen Cari Farver, the harassment obviously persisted still. Detectives Ryan Avis and Jim Doty of the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office in Council Bluffs, Iowa, would take on the case in 2015. The police were aware of Farver's bipolar disorder, but they did not believe that this was related to her disappearance. Avis found it was suspicious that there had been no activity in her checking account throughout her absence. Doty stated that the most striking aspect for him was Liz, who he stated had never been involved in Farver's life before she went missing, but now looked to be the main focus of her harassment campaign. The only forms of communication anyone had received from Farver was electronic. So Doty and Abbas sought assistance from Anthony Carver, a digital forensics administrator at the county sheriff's office. Kroupa and Golyer would both agree in 2013 to have the contents of their phones downloaded for the original set of investigators. This information was contained in the original case file, and Carver would begin to start connecting the dots. And it would soon become quite clear that Cari Farver was not behind the constant harassment that Dave Kroupa had been experiencing for years. Indeed, it was somebody else. And on that note, I think that's time. A good time for a quick commercial break. Amy, what do you think?
Yes. I'm going to spend the break redeveloping my theories. Because I had one and then it got blew out of the water. So now I don't know. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to get my murder wall and my red string, and I'll be back with
get your twine.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen now. And have a wee probably, because I've got a small bladder. That's unrelated.
Yes. On that note, we shall see you back here in just a few moments. Welcome back to this just insane case. How are you finding it so far, Ames? I know that I gassed it up for a while.
Yeah.
Am I doing it justice?
I totally get why. I'm a little bit obsessed now. I think it's got the right level of, there's going to be some crime, there's some gossip, there's like a love triangle. It's literally a soap opera, and I think that's why I like it. I have my theories. I've got my theories. I'm not going to delve into them because I don't want to look like a tit when they all turn out to be wrong. But I've got my theories.
It's like you say, it's got all the makings of a just a TV drama. There is everything going on.
Also, to clarify for the comments, I don't mean it's great that it happened. Obviously, it's terrible that it happened and it's really bad, and I'm sure someone's going to die, and that's obviously really bad as well. But in terms of the storytelling and for the purposes of entertainment, which, by the way, is what we do here, this is good, and I'm enjoying it, so thank you.
It's one of the more wilder cases that we've covered, I would say. So
definitely.
Without further ado, let's pick up where we left off. and that was Anthony Carver doing some dot connecting. And he has the contents from both the phones, and the dots are indeed being connected. Quote, "We knew these messages don't seem to be really coming from Cari Farver," Carver would say. Cari, or the imposter who was pretending to be Cari, sent Dave about 15,000 emails over a 3-year span, and it might have been upwards of 25,000 or 50,000 texts in total. That's big numbers.
That's a lot. I feel like I was right to be questioning the time management. I feel like a human couldn't possibly do that. And this is why time management is important, people. Because not only does it mean that you're less stressed, it also means that you don't get caught out for being a twat.
Yeah.
Oh, I was right to question it. Okay, sorry, I'm going to calm down because I'm very excited. But please do continue.
In Liz's phone dump, investigators discovered a snapshot of Farver's Ford Explorer, which included information indicating that the photo was taken around a month before police would retrieve the car. The detectives also discovered a photo of a bound woman that had been emailed to Kroupa and verified it had been taken on one Liz Golyar's phone.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
They also discovered a video of someone walking outside Kroupa's residence. It was uploaded to YouTube under Farver's name. I don't know why you would upload that to YouTube, but okay. But it was linked to an IP address. And guess whose home that was associated with, Amy?
Golyer's.
Yes, it was.
Golyer's. I am so proud of myself. Honestly, I'm really happy. I feel like the listeners are now confused. So
yeah, probably should fill them in.
We should probably fill them in. Dom, please repeat to the listeners what I told you my theory was in the break.
You theorized that it was indeed Liz, who was essentially sending emails and texts to herself, pretending to be Cari, maybe in a way to be like, get sympathy from people, being like, oh my God, this must be so awful for you. And you're getting all of these texts and emails. That was essentially the crutch of what Amy said. And her theory turned out to be pretty on point.
I thank you. This is why I'm here. I'm here all week. Honestly, I feel like the police need to start calling us in on cases.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we have heard it all. If they're short on suspects, they just need to get us in, give us the evidence, and give me 10 minutes to make up some bullshit. And I promise you, sometimes some of that bullshit is bang on. In this case, bang on. I'm so pleased with myself. Can you tell? I'm feeling really smug now.
Yeah. I'm curious, when did you get the idea in your head that this was Liz?
As soon as I crossed paths in the hallway.
Okay. I had a feeling when I was typing this up that you would get that vibe quite quick, that something wasn't adding up.
Yeah, so I had a feeling. As soon as they crossed paths in the hallway, I had a feeling that one of them was going to be enough of a vengeful bitch that she would do this. And it was just working out which one was going to, disappear, basically.
Yeah.
And it turned out that it was Cari that disappeared.
Yeah.
That was when I had an inkling.
Okay. Well, that hunch was pretty goddamn accurate.
It was living in Notre Dame. It was that much of a hunch.
Oh no.
That was lame. I'm sorry, that was
terrible. So this isn't really a spoiler anymore, because I think people have caught on at this point. But in what is a pretty ballsy move on Liz's part, she would walk into the Potawatomi, I still think I'm pronounced that wrong, but we'll go with it, County Sheriff's Office on December the 4th, 2015. Avis and Dottie were quite surprised to see her saunter in, and discovered that she was there to file a harassment complaint against, of all people, Dave Kroupa's ex-girlfriend, Amy Flora.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. No, don't drag her into it. She's not done anything. Christ. You're just making it more complicated, love.
The twists are still coming.
Oh, God.
So after Golyer left, Avis... I've said Avis and Avis. I've gone between the two. I've just noticed.
It's okay.
So I
just
might
pick
have.
One.
Well, we'll go with Avis.
Sweet.
Drove over to her house to interview Liz, pretending it was about her complaint. Liz would tell Avis that she now believed it was Amy Flora, not Cari Farver, who had been sending her frightening messages this entire time. The woman who is busy raising
to herself.
Yeah. And the woman who is raising 2 kids also has time to vandalize Kroupa's business, stand outside his house, commit arson.
Yeah, of course.
Makes
sense.
Not only that, I'm pretty sure that after around a decade together, Dave and Amy had a very clear conversation of this is done. I don't think Amy's going to be trying to get him back by doing some crazy shit. But this was what Liz was adamant. It was all Amy Flora. Yeah.
Nice try, Liz.
Nice, yeah. Good story. The investigator obviously requested that he download the contents of her phone so that messages could be reviewed. And Golyer would sign and return the consent form, saying that she was cool with it. Obviously, Avis would be taken aback and claim that he couldn't quite believe that she did agree, as access to all of the information on her phone is quite a critical part of the inquiry. So she's not particularly smart, I don't think. She's not a smart criminal.
No, everyone knows you gotta have a burner.
Right. It's also worth noting during their conversation that Avis said Golyer mentioned that she knew Kroupa's gun, which she correctly identified as a 9mm Smith & Wesson, was missing and thought Flora had stolen it. And why do I say that is worth noting, Amy and listeners? Well, that's because Golyer would contact 911 the next day claiming that she was shot in the leg while strolling alone at night in Council Bluffs Big Lake Park.
No.
According to investigators, Golyer initially claimed that she didn't know who the culprit was, but subsequently stated that it must have been Amy Flora who shot her.
You are not about to tell me the bitch has shot herself.
I mean, all I'm saying is that she knew Dave's gun was missing and 24 hours later she gets shot. I'm not saying...
It is ballsy. I'll give her that. It's a ballsy move. If it had worked, then yeah, that's bold. But just give up. Is he worth it? No man is worth it. Ladies, no man is worth it. No woman is worth it. No person is worth it.
Yeah.
Don't bother. Yeah. Don't fucking shoot yourself. If at any point in your life you are stalking a man or a woman or a human or a lamppost, I don't know how people's minds work. But if you are stalking any of those things and you have a gun to yourself thinking, this will further my aims in this relationship, step back, look at yourself, and just make better decisions, because I can guarantee that pulling the trigger is the wrong one.
Yeah.
And that's life advice I didn't think I'd be giving during this episode, but apparently it's needed.
Also, I love you're stalking you're stalking a lamppost, and then you go to see it one day, and you're like, oh, this is fucking moved.
Yes, I realised after I said lamppost that might be a bit pointless. But again, you don't know. We're living in a world where a woman's just shot herself to convince people that she's not stalking herself. So
that is true.
Stalking a lamppost really ain't, outside of the realms of possibility here.
You're not John. Where has he gone? Ah!
Lamppost move, that does happen.
He's just gone down the street, love. It's fine. So after the second download of information, Farver would begin sorting through the information on Golyer's cell phone. He learned that Golyer had created, quote, upwards of 20 to 30 fake email addresses, all of which had a version of Cari Farver's name. Additionally, Farver found that Golyer was using an app that let her schedule future messages. This clarified why both of their phones, Dave and Liz's phone, would be spammed with messages while she was sitting on the couch with Kroupa. Farver calculated that Golyer must have impersonated Farver for, get this, Amy, between 40 and 50 hours a week. So
that's a full-time job.
That is a full-time job, which leads me to believe, like, was she working? Because how did she find time to work like a 48-hour job, but also impersonate someone else for 40 to 50 hours a week?
Did she not sleep? She kind of slept.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to come back to it. The time management is impressive.
The time management is impressive.
As someone that schedules posts, that's hard enough to work out as it is, and I do like 3 a week. 15,000 is, that's other level. I'm kind of getting a level of respect for her, but also, come on.
Yeah.
So Dave Kroupa must have been so fucking good in bed. He must have been like incredible for it to make all of this worth it.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And it also, just goes to show, and just goes to highlight, if you delete something off your phone, it's not really deleted because these people will find it. So remember that. PSA. But yeah, between 40 and 50 hours a week impersonating someone else is insane. The commitment is, I kind of respect it in a way. But, this is madness. So eventually, obviously, investigators would soon devise a plan to arrest Shanna Elizabeth Golyer. They were going to tell Liz that they believed her story that Flora had shot her and wanted Liz's help to get Flora to incriminate herself. The police knew, obviously, that Amy had nothing to do with Farver's disappearance or the threatening messages that had been delivered, but their strategy did end up being successful. They claimed that Golyer created the email she claimed to be from Flora almost immediately. He and Avis persisted in getting Golyer to question Flora, who they obviously knew to be Golyer, about the circumstances surrounding Farver's passing. And Golyer did just that a few days later. They stated that she forwarded an email to them purporting to be from Flora, in which Flora claimed to have stabbed Farver 3 to 4 times before stuffing her body into a rubbish bag. Detective Schneider of the Omaha Police Department took Liz in for interrogation and presented her with the data Dottie, Avis, and Farver had obtained, including the images on her phone, the IP addresses that could be traced back to her home, and the emails from Flora that contained her confession. Golyer asserted that she didn't have internet access and denied knowing anything. However, Dottie and Avis had obtained a search warrant for her apartment while she was being questioned. Liz is what's going to be coming up, because during said search, they discovered several of Cari's belongings, including a camcorder and a digital camera they thought Golyer had taken from Farver's house. They also discovered footage of Farver discussing how her car had been vandalized on the camcorder, and it was timestamped 2 days before she disappeared. And with that, Liz would be detained and charged with first-degree murder on December the 22nd, 2016, 4 years after Cari had vanished. And obviously, it was at this point that Dave Kroupa realized the person that he had been seeing on a casual basis for 4 years was actually the person that had been harassing and stalking him. And just a reminder, it was Liz that burnt down her own house and killed her own pets and shot herself in the leg. Cari had been dead the entire time.
I hadn't even thought about the pets. What a fucking psycho.
Right.
I was so distracted by the fact that she'd shot herself. I didn't even think about her killing her own pets and burning down her own house. Oh
Right.
my God. There is not... Okay, I'm just going to say this. There is not a man on this planet, and I include my own father in that I would kill my dog for.
I mean, fair.
And to be honest, I don't think my dad would be that surprised. If I had
No.
a gun with one bullet in it, and there was a man with a gun to my head with one bullet in it saying, you've got to kill your dad or your dog, my dad is fully aware of the fact that I'd shoot him.
Fair.
So what the hell is Dave Kroupa doing to make this woman so in love with him?
I don't know. Maybe she's just a psycho at this point. Like, Dave might have just been a normal guy. Liz is just a bit of a fucking...
Is she just in too deep?
Nutcase.
Like-
I don't know. Probably.
There was genuinely a point where this woman was like, I'm gonna torch my flat now. This is the next step in the plan. And then another point where she was like, I'm gonna shoot myself. This is you know, step 10 or whatever. Like, this is how...
Yeah.
What was the goal? What was the end goal? Like,
I
to move in with him? I don't know.
I don't know. And obviously, like...
I don't know.
Obviously,
I'm
like...
so confused.
Like, none of this is going to make Dave be like, oh, Liz. Oh, let's get together. Oh, you're meant for me. Like... I don't know.
Just don't get it.
And obviously, like, so much has happened. But for me, just being willing to kill your own pets by torching your own house is insane to me.
No.
Absolutely
No.
insane.
No. For what?
Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
You're already seeing him regularly. Like, you're already in... Alright, maybe not in a relationship with him, but you have a relationship with him. Like, you know, you're having regular sex and, you know, there's a connection there, clearly. That might have developed into something more at a later point when he was ready for it. Why is that not enough? Like, this is what I mean. What was the goal? At what point would she have been like, think I can stop, you know, harassing myself now?
Yeah.
I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. What was that point? Marriage? I don't know. Crazy.
And that's the thing, like, this whole sort of this all stemmed from Dave obviously telling Cari, who we thought he was talking to at the time, which turned out to be Liz, telling Liz that he didn't want anything serious. Like, this is all this stemmed from, was Dave being like, I just want casual. That's all I want. I'm not interested in...
But then he said that
serious.
to Cari, not to Liz, right? Or did he say it to both of them?
He said it to both of them, but then, you know, when Cari sent him the message being like, let's move in together.
Oh, he said he wanted
he said he wanted casual. And I think at that point, it was already Liz who was impersonating Cari.
But even that logic's flawed, because he was saying, no, I just want casual to Cari, not to her. If she'd have said, let's move in together, the answer, I mean, let's be honest, it probably wouldn't have been. But it might have been different. He might have said, oh yeah, no, you know, I'm ready for this with you, whatever. She doesn't know that. So all of this is based off the assumption that he wouldn't want to move in with her. Yeah,
pretty much. And at this point, I think it's fair to say that, like, Liz Golyar is just fucking insane.
She must be.
Like, she's just fucking batshit.
Or I'll go back to my earlier theory that that's some good dick. Like, we all go a bit crazy for good dick sometimes, but not this crazy.
There's crazy, and then there's this.
Yeah, there's torching your own apartment and shooting yourself crazy, and that's a line that I don't think many of us cross.
No. So James Martin Davis, who was Golyar's attorney, asked for a bench trial rather than a jury trial, which would have resulted in a judge's decision, obviously. He would say, quote, not only was there no body, there was no crime scene, there was no murder weapon, there was no proof that she even died. So in 2017, a few months before the trial was scheduled to start, Dave Kroupa would realise that he had a tablet in storage and gave it to the detectives. A micro SD card that had been in Golyar's phone around the time of the murder was also found on the tablet by Carver. he was able to recover every single one of the thousands of destroyed photographs from said SD card. And I know I said it earlier, but there's a little lesson. Just because you delete a photo from your camera roll doesn't mean that the right people would be able to find it. You know, the right person will be able to find that arse boob straight up nude that you think you wiped off your phone, you nasties.
Yeah. This is why I just send all of mine to my whole email address book, because eventually they're going to come out anyway.
So, Carver would say, quote, "I came to a photo that no one had seen before. I wasn't sure what I was looking at first, but it turned out to be a human foot with a tattoo. And the tattoo was of the Chinese symbol for the word mother. And it just so happened that that was a perfect match to a tattoo that Cari Farver had on her foot." Golyer was portrayed by the prosecution's Brenda Beadle as a, quote, "diabolical and cruel woman who had killed Farver before viciously harassing others for years." Golyer's defense attorney contended that all of the state's evidence was circumstantial, that Golyer had once been thought of as a victim, and that Farver's body hadn't been discovered. However, that defense was it didn't matter really, because Liz would end up being given a life term in prison in 2017 after Judge Timothy Burns would find her guilty of first-degree murder and second-degree arson. Shanna Golyer was sent to the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women, and as is the case so often, she still maintains her innocence and claims that Farver's real killer is still out there. It was his ex-partner Amy, of course. We all know that. Of course,
yeah. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Or maybe it was, that bushy-haired stranger that said, that shot Diane Downs and her kids, who was definitely real.
Oh yeah, that
exists.
guy was real. He's still
maybe it's
they're
him.
all connected.
Maybe he killed Cari. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll impress my entire wardrobe with pink. Like, that might happen. It's fucking unlikely, but it might happen.
I just
I
don't know. I don't know. And obviously, like, we cover plenty of cases where people deny that they're guilty. But I don't know how, in, like, after all of this evidence, I don't know how you can be like, yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah, no, that is stupid. Like, it's a straight one, isn't it? Because she's
insane.
She's incredibly clever in a lot of ways. Like, thinking about scheduling the messages, thinking about, I'm not saying it's a good idea, obviously, but even to come up with the idea to harass yourself and to do those things to yourself, your initial thought as a normal human being is, well, no one's going to do that to themselves. Like, there's absolutely no way that you're going to burn down your own house or you're going to shoot yourself. So it must be someone else. So to even come up with that is in some ways smart, but there were so many things that she just didn't do.
Yeah.
That were so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm desensitized. We do this. I watch a lot of crime documentaries. I'm into true crime. It's pretty much my life at this point. Maybe I am a bit desensitized to these things. But to me, I know roughly how to delete a digital footprint. I know how to cover my tracks. I know that you would need a burner phone. know that you would need to use a VPN or change your IP address or use a stranger's computer even to make sure that you weren't connected to some of the things that were being sent. But even with quite an in-depth knowledge, I still don't trust that I'd do it right to not get caught.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I joke a lot that I could get away with murder, but I couldn't. I definitely couldn't. And she must have had, to think of those things in the first place, she must have had a base level of knowledge as well. So to not have a burner phone, at least, is just stupid.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, and like you said, she in some ways she's quite clever, scheduling emails and the texts and all of that stuff, but she's so fucking stupid in other ways. If you're not clever enough to do everything properly, then maybe don't. Just don't, because stop.
And
Yeah,
there must have been so many points
just
where
stop.
she could have stopped. Like if she wanted to kind of nudge him in the right direction in terms of getting in a relationship with her, then I understand sort of why she would want to discredit Cari.
Mm-hmm.
But all that would have taken, realistically, don't kill her. Obviously, I feel like that goes without saying. Don't kill her. But send a text to him saying, fuck you, I hate you. Basically what she did. And then get his phone and send a text to her saying, fuck you, I hate you. Those two now assume that the other one hates each other and you're in.
Yeah.
Then maybe, do a little bit of harassment from Cari, make sure that he really doesn't want to speak to her and make sure that you seem like the better option.
Yeah.
And then stop.
Yeah.
Just don't do anything else. You don't need to burn down your flat. You don't need to kill your pets. And you sure as hell don't need to shoot yourself.
Yeah.
Also, I appreciate that I've just made myself sound like a fucking psycho. I wouldn't do any of this, but I can see how, you could do it without having to kill anyone.
Yeah. You could. This is just obsession on, a completely different level. This is obsession that just goes beyond obsession. Like, I don't know what is beyond obsession.
Far.
But
too far, Liz. Too far.
Yeah, too far. Dave Kroupa would go on the Strictly Stalking podcast in 2021 and obviously talk about this case and talk about the emails and the harassment and all of that stuff. And he would say on the podcast, quote, "I don't think it even sunk in when I heard her pronounced guilty. It was surreal. If I read this book, I wouldn't have believed it." And that was the case of, I don't know what you would call it, the stalking of Dave Kroupa, the murder of Cari Farver, the case of Dave Kroupa and Cari Farver and Liz Golyar. That was this case. What do you think, Amy? How did you find that?
Have a lot of emotions. It is definitely a very interesting, quite a unique case. I don't think we'll get many that reflect this one too much. To be honest, my overall emotion is that I feel quite smug because, boom, I got her. And I felt it was really important for you to say it because, otherwise people are just going to be like, oh yeah, Amy said she understood it, but she definitely didn't. But actually, in the break, I fully did have her fucking sussed.
Yeah, you did.
You have to, think like a psycho to understand a psycho. But
to be a,
I think
like
for me,
psycho, you have to be a psycho.
Takes one to know one. But I think for me, the overarching question will always be, why? Like, why him? Why was he so special? Like, maybe, I don't know, you could argue, Amy, you've never been properly in love if you don't understand why. And maybe that's true. I don't think it is, but maybe that's true. But I just don't think there's a point where I could do myself that much harm in order to gain the favour of another human being. That's the part that I just can't quite, I guess maybe it relates back to motive. I just don't fully understand the motive to do all this. Yeah.
It's a bizarre case. There's so many questions of why she did what she did. What was so special about Dave, and for all we know, Dave might have been a really nice guy, but at the same time, why go to those lengths? Because surely she was somewhat aware that all of the things she was doing, eventually it was going to blow up in her face, and eventually she was going to get caught, and eventually, you know, all of this was just going to, you know, go completely tits up on her. But she still obviously plowed through, and she still willingly signed over her, you know, information and digital footprint and all of that stuff. So maybe there was an element of, oh, I can get away with this. You know, oh, it's fine. I've scheduled the messages. I've deleted them off the phone. It's fine. They're not gonna find it. Like, maybe there was an element of smugness that she could get away with it. But even if she did,
what do you gain? What's the end point? What's the goal?
What was that going to increase the likelihood that Dave was going to be like, you know, I want something serious with you? You know, what if after all of this, Dave still went, I don't want anything serious? What would she do then? Like, what's the next step?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it would have gone towards a, well, if I can't have him, no one will.
Yeah.
Type scenario. But even then, you know, that doesn't achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve either.
You know, like I said towards the end, then I couldn't find anything that said that Liz had, you know, disorders, whether that was narcissistic personality, whether that was, you know, something else. But I can't be like, I can't, you know, read all of this stuff that she did and hear about it from, you know, the true crime guys and be like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with her. There must be something.
No, I think there's definitely some sort of underlying again, it's not for us to diagnose anyone, but
no,
I don't think a
rational,
neurotypical, you know, rational, mentally healthy person would make the decisions that she'd made.
No, absolutely not. But that was our case for this week. I'm very excited that I got to talk about it. It's been, I outlined it a little while back, and I've been sitting on it being like, God, I can't wait to discuss this one. Amy, would you like to see us out for this week?
I'd absolutely love to. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did, because honestly, I cannot explain how happy I was when I finally got something right. I'm usually so wrong about these things. I very rarely, you know, come to the right conclusion about these things. Previous episodes notwithstanding. But this one, I got bang on money, and that is an achievement I'm taking home with me today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Please do support us in any way that you want to and that you can. If that's financially, if you're feeling a bit flush and you're feeling a bit generous, then head over to our Buy Me a Coffee link. Please provide us with caffeine, because clearly this Red Bull is not big enough. And send us a coffee. Or you can head over to the merch store and buy yourself a little something, a little horror house something. Get something with the logo on it. Me and Dom have got it permanently etched on our skin. The very least you could do is wear it on your clothing. Don't swear at the camera, Dom. I'm not getting my neck out, but trust me, we do. So yeah, go and have a little look at the merch. If you're not feeling that flush, if you're not feeling that generous, and if you're not feeling that, you know, money abundant, what a weird way of putting it, Amy. That's fine. Give us a follow on Instagram, subscribe on the YouTube channel, leave us a comment, leave us a like, say some nice things, or some not so nice things. Apparently that's a bit of a thing at the moment. Whatever you want to say it in the comments. And until next time, stay spooky.
Stay fucking spooky, you bloody beautiful people.
Got it right, Dom.
You did. You did. And now you know, if you're going to stalk someone, don't look at Liz and take inspiration from her, because she didn't do it. Don't do it how Liz did it.
What do you mean if I'm going to stalk someone?
I'm not saying anything. Just saying if you do. If there's some good dick out there and you can't let it go.
I'm recording from a VPN as we speak.